Hi, and I'm coming in just about 5 minutes early just to make sure everything's working because it's so much internet stuff. I mean, really, seriously, I have just had internet stuff. You know, that is. Um, so I thought I'd wear my cool dragon hat that Lucid got me um, to start out tonight. I just don't feel like messing with my hair or anything. I'm sorry. I put on some makeup for you. Be happy. I don't really like putting on makeup and doing all that. I just but you know what? I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you, darling. Put on makeup for you guys. Anyway, um, so I wanted a little spare time in there. I wasn't sure that anybody would for sure see the announcement unless I gave it a little extra time because so many times people say they just didn't see it, and YouTube is a funny old thing sometimes, the way that it behaves. So, there aren't any guarantees about it. It looks like, though, I've got a few minutes here to just go into some things there and wait for you guys. I got to get back to playing music. That's another thing I want to do. As time progresses, I'm going to be adding some stuff. Hey, Richard, how are you doing? Hopefully. I think I'm on the mend. I hope I'm on the mend. I hope I'll be back in business soon. Um, I'm getting some energy back here and there. Let's hope it continues. I got to find a spot for myself to broadcast now. I'm not sure what time to come in. It's been really sporadic. Sorry about that. And it's sometimes so long in between that StreamYard keeps disconnecting and I have to reconnect every time I come in again. So I'm going to have to do something about that. Um, but if somebody could, oh, cooking dinner, are you, Richard? Yeah. Well, if somebody could just put a notice into MeWe, that would be nice. But you'll see it sooner or later. Anyway, I just wanted to come in and once again mention a few things that I'm seeing, because that seems to be what a lot of people expect of me is for me to tell them what I'm seeing coming up. Because, why have the news from yesterday when you can have it early? But much as I said, okay, on the political scene, the Hunter Biden laptop stuff is coming up again. And I said that was going to happen. There are lawsuits starting up. Trump is suing Hillary. Um, Nancy Pelosi's son is now also being, investigated for stuff that he's involved with. It is going to be a freaking wild ride. 22 is going to be a wild ride, and it's going to just keep getting wilder as far as I can see. It's going to be like that the whole year. It's going to continue into 23. And that is going to be, it's just going to get a little crazier. Just funny thing, right on time. I said it was going to really start going in March, and it did. here we go, right? So March was very eventful. And I have to say, the truckers, they don't want to admit this, but the truckers won. The Canadian truckers won. That's the way to do it. They did it the right way. They didn't back down. There wasn't any good way to back them down. They had the clear advantage and they won. And I know Justin doesn't want to admit this, but they did. Now, this should be dancing in the streets because, I mean, we should be happy, folks. This is tremendous because this means that, contrary to what we've been taught, told, and shown, tried to show what people have tried to show us. Oh, you can't fight City Hall. Well, yes, you can. Actually, if you do it right, you can fight City Hall. And there's a good way to do it and a not so good way to do it. And they did it a good way. They did it a way that could not be ignored. They did it very peacefully. They didn't allow violence. Some of them did get in a lot of trouble and had things confiscated. And they did give them a lot of trouble. I mean, they had to stand up to a lot of stuff. But in the end, they won because the provinces started dropping all the mandates. And then you'll notice, so did the US. Why? Because it could happen here. And in fact, word is, there are some people planning for it to happen here. So we're on the other side of history now. We're past the point where it's going to be a losing battle. We're winning the battle. We're not. Let's just put it this way. It's time to be hopeful. Time to start planning what else we want. I've written a song, and you know how that goes. I've written a song about, what time is it? Well, here's Cowboy. He wanted to say hi. I hope you heard him just then. He wanted to say hello. He's going to take up his favorite perch on my chair over there and keep an eye on everything, make sure it all goes the right way. Anyway, so I was inspired. The Canadian truckers won, and I wrote a song about it and hope to perform it. I hope to record it. It turned out great. The writing of it, at least the way that I hear it in my head, it kind of sounds in my head like Steve Perry is singing it a little bit, or maybe, but my helper likes Freddie Mercury. Freddie Mercury could have sung this too. But in this case, I guess I will start out by singing it. But it's a good one. I've sung it for a couple of people, and they've said, "Wow, yeah, you've got to do something with that." So freedom must rock. Probably is what I'm going to call it. Freedom rocks, so let freedom roll. So, and so we're actually having success. And I think I said it here. I don't know if I said it here or somewhere else. Might have been just to somebody. See, if you get to know me, we'll have each other's numbers, and then I'll be calling you when this stuff is on my mind. But I believe I was talking about this, that we're going to be seeing a lot more wins now, just in general. I mean, it's just we're on a winning streak now. It's our time. It's not, no longer is the pendulum on the downswing or coming back up again. And I did say that in the Ukraine, it looks like the Ukraine is the people themselves are going to be happy that they're winning in some way. Somehow they're winning something. And people were going, no, they're, everything's being taken. And no, they're actually, I said, no, but I see him like a victory. I see him like there's some victory happening. They're actually happy over something about this war when it's over, but after the dust settles. Like, not right now, because it's war. But I have to tell you, this from a source that knows some insiders in that area. There are no civilians left in Ukraine. Everybody that's left now is a fighter. There are all the civilians left, all of the people that are not, and that's a good idea. I mean, if you can do that, and they can. So, so the mothers and children and older people that can't fight, they're gone. And so all that's left is people who can fight. That's it. And that's why they're having such a hard time. And Putin is having a hard time controlling that. I don't think he was prepared for that at all. He was prepared for more of a cream puff event, and it wasn't. It wasn't. So, I could be reading that wrong, or it could be, but see, everybody's worried about, is it going to start World War III, a nuclear war, and you're hearing all that crap. And it's crap. And I just heard somebody who channels, her guide is telling her that a nuclear war is going to be allowed and it's going to move us to the next level and blah, blah, blah. And, oh, no, no, no. And I'm telling you, no, this is not what I see. And I will take out my pendulum and ask. But the last time I asked, no. No, that is not what's going to happen. That is not how we move up. Okay, nor are we going to, I'm sorry, the whole doomsday thing. And they go, oh, but every doomsday is a new beginning. Yes. But I don't think Putin is not crazy. He's not going to ruin the whole earth for himself too. So he's not insane. And if you're not insane, you're not going to start the big one unless you're insane. You have to be insane because there won't be anything left for you either. It's not going to be nice. Everybody's territory is going to be affected by that. Now, he might do something, he might try something locally, like, and I'm thinking maybe in Europe, he might try something like, that could maybe happen. However, I don't see him trying to start a World War III, a nuclear war, an all-out nuclear war. No, I don't think that's how our next evolution happens. I'm sorry. I think it's bullshit right out. But if you don't believe me, I'll check, because this is, I think, another thing to just scare people. Because what do we got? I mean, we got comets and we got plagues and we got blah, 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 blah. And murder hornets. They had to add, oh, wait a minute. The latest? Flying spiders. Flying spiders invading the US. Seriously? Seriously? Well, they don't have wings. They float along on their webs that they build like little parachutes. Now, here's the kicker to all this pandemonium about flying spiders. They're not harmful to humans. They're just creepy. So they're not going to kill you. They might overtake some of our local spiders, so I don't know about that. They're going to have to fight each other to the death, I guess. But yeah, that's just one more thing to just scare the crap out of people. Our vibration's getting too high. This makes me smile. Our vibration is getting too freaking high, see? And things have to keep coming along to scare us because that drops the vibration. It's getting too high for them. One day, we're going to vibrate right the heck out of their range of these lower forms, of these parasites. Our frequency is going to be too high, because when our frequency is high, we're very hard to touch. When we know who we are, we're very hard to touch. When we have our abilities back, then we're really going to be hard to touch, because those of us who already have some of them back are hard to touch, hard to hit. I mean, the last time I was hit by something, they thought they were going to get me in dream time. They thought they were going to get me in my sleep. I still took out my sword and whacked them. They're gone, man. It was fast. It was over in like a few seconds. So, once you get to a certain level, it looks to me like they mostly quit now. I've been gone because I've been changing. I mean, and I don't mean I've been changing diapers either, but no, I've been having all of these things. The last thing I did, I was thinking I was getting ready to get back up and start streaming again, and I actually tore my rotator cuff so bad. And this is how it happened, and I'm going to tell you, because this is crazy. I have, for the sake of my health, I just got messages that, I need to get serious and give up wheat and give up sugar. So I did that over a month ago. It's been weeks. It's been maybe a month and a half, maybe 2 months. And my swelling is going down, and a lot of my stuff is altering. My body is changing. Hey, Linda, I haven't seen you in a while. Oh, so good to see you. Anyway, my body is changing. I think I'm losing some weight. I don't have a scale, but my clothes are saying I'm losing weight, and my swelling is down, and a lot of my pain is abating somewhat. It's backed off quite a bit, and I'm going to tell you more about that, about how that is happening. But part of it is I gave up sugar and wheat. But detox is hard, okay? When you're doing stuff like that, I'll tell you right now, detox is hard. I'm breaking out in a rash here. That's a detox thing. Headaches can be a part of it too, and other stuff. You can be cold a lot. there's all kinds of things that come as kind of a byproduct of changing, making such a huge change like that. But it's worth it in the end. The only one thing that I learned though is, and I had a feeling this was a fact, you can't come back. Not easily anyway, not without paying a price. And this was really driven home to me because about 2 weeks ago, and I know I haven't streamed for a couple of weeks at least, or maybe a little more. I was getting ready to, but then I did the dumbest thing. Somebody had a birthday, and I ate a tiny piece of birthday cake. And I had had trouble with my left arm. Some of you knew this for a while. I wasn't able to get full motion with it. I thought I slept on it wrong. It hurt a little bit when I turned it certain ways. And so I was thinking, geez, this might be a torn rotator cuff. Well, if it's a small tear, you just like baby it for a while and it heals back. You don't need surgery necessarily, unless you really rip it good. But I ate this little piece of freaking birthday cake, and God knows what it had in it. It had sugar for sure and flour, and probably I'm even seeing as an ingredient high gluten flour in some things. Why? When people are having gluten problems, and we know wheat is weaponized already. We already know that. It's one of the worst things right now that you can do is be eating wheat, unfortunately. And I'm sorry. I know how hard that is, man. I mean, I've been wrestling with giving up wheat and sugar. It's not that simple. Our crappy American diet, and I know in a lot of places right now around the world, our diet, it has a lot of sugar and flour in it. And it's really hard. But this one little piece of birthday cake was my Waterloo, because my shoulder blew up like I thought I was going to die. Like somebody blew my shoulder off. It was, and my whole arm, my whole freaking down to the elbow, and even down below that was just, it was radiating down my arm. It was radiating up my neck. It was radiating across my back. It was radiating down. It was radiating all over the place. The pain was, oh, so unbearable. It was like I broke something. It felt like I broke something. And, oh, hey, Lewis. Hi. Cute hat? Cute hat. Oh, thank you. Yeah, Lucid gave me this hat. I just don't want to show you I don't want to show you my hair. My hair is not done. Anyway, but I thought I still love this hat. Lucid gave me this hat. Anyway, it just blew up within an hour. I mean, boom. And I just was, oh my God, the pain was through the freaking roof like I broke a bone. I couldn't move my arm. It just hung at my side. It got hot. It swelled up. I talked to Pammy. Pam had, Pam I am, apparently she had one. She had a torn rotator cuff, and she said, well, I ripped mine. And she says, yeah, that's all the things that mine did. And then it just kind of hangs at your side, and then it just hurts like nobody's business. And then, yeah, it's like, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I screwed my whole, and it was just a small pain. But see, I think after talking to people, what I did was I shocked my body after not having any sugar and flour, and then all of a sudden having this super concentrated, who knows what the heck was in that birthday cake. You know, what kind of dyes and other poisons and toxins were in that freaking birthday cake, right? That people, but it just tells me we're so poisoned and we don't even know it. We're just used to it. We're just used to being poisoned. It's crazy. This stuff really is freaking poison. And I had no idea. I had heard from people that it's not a thing you where you go back without consequence. Because I mean, I'd run into them every now and then that had quit sugar and flour, and you dangle a piece of birthday cake or something in front of them, and they're like, their eyes get wide, and they're like, oh no, 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 no. And now I know why. And here, when I called up Gemini, she had done herself in on more than just 2 Cheetos. She says, well, I can eat 1 or 2 Cheetos once in a while. But I tried to eat more, and I had quite a time with it. I'm like, oh, geez. And then I heard more people who were doing this to themselves. And I think this is just a lesson to all of us. We've got to get more serious. We've got to stop letting this poison us. We're being asked to quit allowing ourselves to be poisoned. And it's hard because, I mean, people love their food stuffs. I do too, you know. There's times when I really think about, how in the heck, what am I going to eat? Well, it's probably going to go keto. I'm probably going keto. I've taken away most grains except for rice. I'm still eating rice. And eventually, if I go keto, that's going to have to go too. My crackers, I found some nice crackers made with almond flour, and that kind of thing. You kind of have to do that. But honestly, I think this is part of our upgrade, is we're getting asked to give up the things that we know are actually hurting us. I mean, how serious are you about this moving up in your frequency? Is this some kind of test? I don't know. Maybe it is. Another thing that happened during this that was great is just before this happened, years ago, I had found, and before those of you who just came in, you can like wind back. I came in a little bit earlier and started talking about all the ways we've won. The truckers absolutely won, and now we know how to win. Okay. I mean, they really did it. They got every province to drop all the mandates, and even the mandates, you'll notice, dropped here because they're really scared that we're going to do the same thing here. And all of a sudden, now you can say COVID, 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 COVID all you want, and you're not going to get a strike. This is what I hear. The latest thing is I can say COVID all day. Oh, you did? Your neighbor's black cat? Oh, cute. Kitties. Anyway, but it's almost like, okay, COVID's not working. Obviously, COVID, you didn't give up all your rights. You didn't fall right over. Some of you stood up. COVID isn't working. Plan B. Oh yeah, World War. Yeah, that'll scare them. That's the feeling that I get from this. It's like, yeah, World War. Yeah, who isn't afraid of World War? Nuclear World War. That's scary, right? Everybody's going to be scared again. Except I'm not. I asked point blank. Is that the way we're going? Is that the way we're moving up? No. No. Because people have tried to say, well, that's how it's going to happen. We're going to move up. That it'll be a frequency shift. No. For those of you who just came in, no, it's not. Okay, but just because you came in, because I love you. Okay, hello, Carl. Hi, Carl Werstein. my night is wonderful because I'm out of pain tonight. I'm not having pain. Um, let's consult my pendulum. Now, as many of you who have been watching me a long time know, me and my pendulum have been right. This shaman generally gets it right. Um, basically, most of the stuff that I said was going to happen, if not all. There's only been a few times that I've been just a little off. Um, as a matter of fact, there's only one time I can think of that I've been off, um, but maybe just in timing. Because one thing is, I still think Donald is going to run, and he has a very good chance of winning. And and I said he was going to bring up dirt on all kinds of things. He is. He's suing Twitter. He's suing Hillary. He's going to be suing all over the place. Hunter Biden's laptop came back up. I think that's going to do in Biden. Pelosi's son is now being investigated. Pelosi. This is all after Ghislaine Maxwell got sentenced, right? And we're not hearing a thing about that. We're not hearing a thing about that. It should be very high profile, shouldn't it? The only place we're hearing it is on alternative channels like this one. So we're winning. What's the woo of this? The woo of it is, as I said, we're winning. Your frequency, my frequency, and a lot of people, we're raising our frequency. And soon we will be out of the range of the parasites. I've always said this. That's how we get out of their grip. We raise our frequency. So let's ask. And I'm going to say all the standard conditions apply. Pendulum, are you ready to work? Yes. Okay, show me a yes. I'm going to calibrate this down here because it takes something to hold my arm up like that. Okay, show me yes. Okay, stop and show me what no looks like. Okay, and this is how you calibrate a pendant. My cat's name is Erasmus. No, that's right. They call me Mama Ocean or Mama D. Yes. Okay, we're ready. Are we going to have a world war with and it's spinning in a circle? Wrong question. Are we in a world war? Not really. Not really. People are trying to convince you that we are. Is nuclear holocaust the way we move up in vibration into our next? No. Is it all going to end with a nuclear strike? No. No. Okay. So some of these beings who are saying that, some of these channeled beings, they are lying through their teeth and they are being tricksters. Wrong question. What would the question be then? Because some channels are getting that that's what's going to happen, that this or that's going to happen, it's going to kill us all, and it's going to move us up. Are we going to have to all die for us? Are we going to have to, any of us, are we going to have to die to have, well, dying does move us up, okay. Yeah, I guess it does. But are we as a society? No, we don't have to die for that to happen. We don't all have to die. Okay. Can we achieve a higher vibration out of the range of these parasites while still in a body? Wrong question. My arm's getting tired. How would I ask that? Let me see. How would I ask that? I know this. This is how I'll ask. Are we on the way out of all of this corruption? Are we? Oh, yes, it's swinging very vigorously. Yes. We're on our way out of this corruption. Okay. That's going away. It's just what I got. And Putin is not going to, no, not going to bomb us because he's not crazy. He's smart. He's not crazy. He thought, though, am I right? He thought because Biden was weak, is a weak president, that he could just come in and, yeah. But he underestimated the Ukrainians themselves. Well, he's going to have to back off sooner or later, it looks like, because they're not giving up. And I think this is going to set a precedent. Let's put it this way. Our governments should be afraid of the people and not the other way around. Last time I said, well, I've heard two things. I've heard that since there's so much corruption in the Ukraine, that maybe Putin was trying to root that out. You know, and just tired of the US laundering its money and doing its slave trade and stuff through the Ukraine. Well, yeah, I have heard that the Ukraine has been pretty corrupt. There's been a lot of corruption there, and that a lot of it is connected with America. But even at that, probably, I'm thinking, the war is going to disrupt the slave trade. Chances are, if that is the case, yeah, the war is going to be very disruptive to that. And that's a good thing. I keep seeing the Ukrainian people having something to be glad about after this is over. Even though, and I said the same thing about COVID, I said, even though it's going to be horrible for a while, we will get something out of this that we didn't have before. And what we didn't have before is where we are now. Yeah, we're not all falling over, and they know it now. They cannot pull the same stuff. B. Freeman, hey, yes it is. Lucid Curios. One of my listeners sent me this wonderful hat, this wonderful dragon hat. And my hair doesn't, I am having a bad hair day, or actually a lazy hair day, so, but I put on makeup for you. I hope you appreciate it. All I did is I just put on a little bit of eyeshadow and stuff, that's all. I'll put that on. I don't want to put on any makeup right now because I've got, this is probably a reaction. I got some rosacea from my dietary change. So I think that's what it's from, is, you know, you can have breakouts and headaches and all kinds of side effects from getting rid of your toxins. But anyway, I wanted you to see, I'm really happy that we can use Woo to maybe bring you a little bit of good news. And then I want to tell you one of my dreams that I had. That's another thing. Well, a couple of them. One of them that I've been wanting to bring to you, I'm going to have to do some more research into this. But I had this very tumultuous dream, and then I woke up, and the first thing on my feed was Dick Cavett interviewing David Bowie about black noise, what black noise is. What? And that led me down a rabbit hole. So about what is black noise and um, which is the opposite of white noise? Yeah, basically no noise at all that you can hear. But it led me down quite an interesting rabbit hole. Black noise can cause all kinds of weird things to happen. But see, it's sort of like some of you that follow the Bigfoot stuff. It's sort of like that. It's sort of like infrasound. It's too low. It's noise you can't hear. It's out of our range. So it could be as loud as a jumbo jet engine right next to you, but you can't hear it because it's out of your range. Yet it's still making vibrations. You see, it still has a frequency. It's still affecting things. And to us, it would look very strange. We wouldn't be able to tell. Like you're used to watching the plants dance when you turn up your rock music, right? You put your plants on top of the speakers and the plants do a little plant dance. So we're used to that, but we can hear that. But what if something's going on that's so low or so high that we can't hear it? Well, it turns out that that can have a lot of weird effects. Weird effects. Ah. Oh, B. Freeman is doing some toxin cleansing too. Yeah, it sure does have interesting effects. Many opportunities, as some would say. Gives us all these opportunities. Remember, we have to be careful with how we say, because what we say is a vibration too. And what we say is going to start making things happen in our lives. So let us be careful not to say, for instance, my blah, blah, blah is killing me. Don't say that unless you want that. Because as you become more and more and more godlike, and I'm not saying this in a oh godly way. I'm not saying it like that. I'm uh-oh. In this hat, I could be doing opera. But anyway, no, it's not over yet. Anyway, I may be kind of bad, but no, that doesn't mean it's over. I'm sorry. That's a play. This isn't a play. Okay. Anyway, um, wise with words. Yes, it is a time to be wise with words. Please do. Be mindful of what you say, because as your frequency raises and as you become more and more attuned and in line with your godlike abilities, and I'm saying that because your superpowers, whatever you want to call it, you know, um, those abilities that we used to have before our DNA was screwed with, um, you'll find that you will have to adapt yourself. And a lot of us are being more or less forced. Well, it's still a choice. You can go on being sick and not feeling good and whatever, or you can make a choice to adapt to the change in vibration, and change your ways and feel better. And it's a choice. But everybody's got to make their own choice. And for me, I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired and looking for a way out of it. And somehow when the idea of, sugar and wheat came up, it was like, you should do that. It's like, okay, I will. I will. Um, so anyway, and I'm not going back. Oh my God, that was so painful. But like I said, several of us had a similar experience right around that time. And I think we were just like, okay, this is how deeply you were being poisoned. Because we get used to it and it comes on you a little at a time and it just slow poison. Killing me softly with your food. It shouldn't even be called food, should it? I mean, shouldn't it be called pesticide and we're the pests? And shouldn't it be in the pesticide aisle? Want to get rid of your human pest? Just feed them this birthday cake. It's like, I mean, the corn, when I found out what they were doing, that they were going to put the corn that was supposed to stop the corn borers, that it was going to be in the aisle sold as human food. I'm like, what? And you know what? It doesn't even stop the corn borer. The corn borer is fine now. They've adapted already. So there's absolutely no reason. And when I found out that they were going to put GMO fruit flies in eggs, in fruits, and all of us started having these fruit fly problems that wouldn't die. I think that was bogus too. They already knew it wasn't going to work to do any good. So why did they keep doing it? Do I have to say? It's so hard for some of us sometimes. And we have an opportunity, though. I'll look at it. Okay, I'll use the opportunity approach. We have an opportunity to hone our abilities to discern. Every time we go in a grocery store, every time we go in any store, actually, what's not going to kill us? What's not going to harm us? What's not too toxic for our bodies? And remember, we're at a stage where we're building. We're not, we're kind of like baby gods right now. Our bodies are changing there, and we have to treat them kind of gently, and be careful with them. I think there will come a time when our transformation is complete and we won't have to worry about this stuff as much. Maybe we'll have more honesty. Maybe we will get rid of the parasites. Like I said, we could grow away from and rise above the parasites that are trying to kill us, and then everything will be safe, and we won't have to go into a store with our armor on, wondering, and our thinking cap, and having to be super sleuths and nutrition experts. You really have to keep up with it now to go into a store and not get not come home with a bunch of crap. But I think it's going to happen. And I think eventually we're going to not have to worry about that anymore. That's going to go away. And I think, here's another news flash. I very strongly feel, and it may be toward the end of the year, but I think 23, and the coincidence is not lost on me because I don't think it's a coincidence. But I think 23 is when we do get disclosure. I think we meet the aliens in 23, the aliens, the ETs. I think it becomes obvious. It's already becoming obvious. I said, what did I say? Sightings are going to increase, and boy, have they. And people are even starting to say, wow, there's just so many sightings these days, just all over the place. Yeah, I said that was going to happen. I said the ships are coming. They're going to be everywhere. People are going to see them. They're not, a lot of them are just not going to bother to cloak. Part of this is, oh, hey, Pam, no problem. Oh, Salem, Oregon. Ooh, from Oregon. Did you find us any place to build our, did you find us any place to build our eco village yet? um, Yeah, it's because they love us. They just love us. Everybody loves us. Maybe fricasseed, I don't know. Because, who doesn't love a barbecue? But anyway, um, that's a joke. Just a joke, universe. Just a joke. Humor, R. And remember, here's the disclaimer. All of this I'm saying, this has to do with a game we're all playing here in the Matrix. And it has absolutely nothing to do with real life, which takes place outside the Matrix. But but it does have to do with some things that are going on in the Matrix game that we're playing called Life on Earth. Oh, how lovely. A lot of buffering on your side. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Pam. Yes, it's good to see you. A supermarket of self-flavorings. Well, that would be interesting. um, but really, I think it's going to be, it will get different. Okay, we're going to get through this. It's, whatever they try to throw, just remember, we can move our frequency up and just go slide right past them. And this is funny. This is another funny thing. There are also all of these people that are very, they're so spiritual. And of course, alcohol. It's evil. It's evil. You should smoke weed instead. Frankly, to some of these people, maybe it is. I don't know. Some people, it seems like the minute they take, alcohol hits their lips, they're instant asshole. Just that alcohol. Other people, though, don't have that problem. I'm one of them that you give me a glass of wine and I'll just get happy and funny and just I found this, it's really funny. I went on a quest to get some food I could actually eat, and I went to Seven Grain, which is kind of a healthy food place. And of course, it's very expensive. And so I only got the stuff that was actually a deal. And they had literally happy hour. They said, "Oh, you will stay for happy hour." It was a Friday. Said, "We've never tried this before, but if you stay 15 minutes, we're going to have happy hour." I'm like, "Happy hour?" Yes, yeah, it's something we're trying. We're going to have a lot of people come in with different hors d'oeuvres and alcohol. It's like, did I come on the right day or what? This is my jam, man. Yes. And if I didn't think before that we were winning, it's like, oh, this is a win. Yeah. Organic booze. Oh, hell yeah. I'm going to get to sample organic booze. I sampled every one of them, I'll tell you. And my friend who brought me was like, "Good thing I'm driving." I said, "Yes, it is. And since you are, I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to try it all." And I was very happy that night. And I came back home with some organic wine, orgasmic wine, organic wine. And my helper came over, and I decided that with my meal, I'm going to have a glass of wine. That puts me in a good mood. And guess what? She goes, "You're laughing. You're happy. You're way too happy. What have you been doing?" Had a glass of wine. "Will you please have more wine?" "Have another glass." "Will you have a glass every time I come?" I guess I've been kind of a little grouchy which is another reason I haven't been streaming. I've been kind of grouchy, and like I said, dealing with all of the withdrawals and detoxing stuff. It's not fun. It's not fun. And So she was like thrilled, she was like, "Oh, this is the happiest I've seen you in a long time." I said, "Literally, I'm happy, yes." Because that's the way I get, you give me a glass of wine and I'm a happy girl. I'm happy all of a sudden. And I don't know, it just relaxes the heck out of me, just like uh, almost right away. And now I can indulge in it and don't have to worry about it being very toxic because um, really a little bit of alcohol is not going to hurt you. Every single pharmaceutical you've ever had has been toxic. So, um, that's why their work is they have some toxicity, so supposedly. But alcohol, your systems, we've been drinking alcohol for years. We've been drinking wine for ages, and our bodies are used to that, totally understands it. And the thing is, somehow the organic was just great. So I would say if you have a chance and you're of a notion, hi Ken, hi, how you doing? And you have a notion to try it, please go out and try organic wine. There is a difference. It tastes different. It's lovely. It's lovely. And I almost had a glass before I came in, but I was already in a pretty good mood because we're winning. Like I said, we are winning. We are winning, winning, winning. And, corrupt government had better shake in their shoes. This is a year it's going down, man. We have been waiting for this. And next year, we meet the aliens. I bet you. I bet you. I can feel it. Somewhere I heard that they probably have the reason we're getting any kind of a slow drip now, any kind of disclosure, even admitting that those things in the air ain't ours. We don't know whose they are. Even that much. The only reason we're even getting that is because they've been given a deadline. I said this before. Either disclose or we'll disclose for you. Disclose your way or disclose our way. And if we disclose our way, we're going to tell them everything. Well, so they're going to try and scramble to disclose a little bit at a time in a way that doesn't implicate or vilify any of them. I mean, even though people's lives were ruined and people even died over all this, you're not going to hold that against them, are you? Not if we tell you some stuff. We have to tell them everything. No, we don't. Do we have to? Yeah. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you're going to have to. We're going to find out everything sooner or later. Because Pluto, this shaman also happens to know something about astrology. What did I tell you? Pluto coming in, the cosmic cop, he's coming in to clean up Dodge. And we have absolutely nothing to feel bad about because every single one of these people made a choice. So, and I'm sure that the people who were coerced are going to get their chance. They're going to get their chance. But the people who are just in it for greed, they're going down. The people who are selling us out happily and dancing around and for those of you who are in the UK having parties while you're suffering, yeah, those people are going to go down. They're going down. Okay. And you're going to see it this year. This is the year we've been waiting for. This is the start of the good stuff. Get your party hat on. I'm not kidding. You're going to see things that are scary, but it's going to end up turning out okay. So don't get scared. Don't let anybody scare you. Ah, yes, they're going to have to. Well, they've already declassified MK Ultra. But you're right. They're going to have to tell us about all kinds of things. Oh, Ken, you got your hernia operation. Oh, well, yeah. Good for you, Ken. I'm so glad that you're on the mend now? Okay. Yeah, so we're winning. This is the upswing, not the downswing. You saw the pendulum. We're on the upswing now. The ball's coming into our court. The power's going to come right into our hands. It's not going to be allowed to go the other way now. It may look scary. Don't be scared. Just start thinking more and more about what you want the world to look like. What do you want it to look like? I would love to see, and I'm really not a smoker. I don't smoke, but I want to see uh, the research on the psychedelics unlocked for all of us. I want to see that come forward because I think it's going to help a lot of people, and me included. Um, I think it's probably a lot safer than a lot of the psych meds that we have right now, because Lord knows there's enough people on psych meds in Kent that ugh. When I got depression and anxiety, I decided to go the natural route, and I told them I will, pull out all the stops to go naturally, and I don't want to add psych drugs because they're not even proven. I mean, is it really working when you give somebody that is depressed and stressed um, a psych med that will make them want to kill themselves, that actually can cause lethality? They call it lethality. I mean, now when I, talk to my counselor, she has to give me a lethality screening every time. Has to ask me, have I thought of killing myself? Did I ever think of killing myself? Did I ever try to kill myself? And it's always, no, 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 no. I don't believe in that. I really don't. I don't think that would do me any good. Some people, I'm not judging you. If somebody did, I'm not judging it. It's not my place to judge. However, for myself, I don't want to have to come back here and do anything over. I'm done. I'd rather fight my way through it, whatever it is. I'll fight my way through it. The pain, whatever, you know? And it's funny because as I'm lying there, and I couldn't even lie still and not hurt for a while. I went through a whole night, everything I had at hand, nothing was working on this pain of my torn rotator cuff because I ripped it. And the only thing I can think of is I shocked my body really bad, and the swelling, the sudden swelling, just ripped it because I didn't do anything different than I normally did. And all of a sudden, an hour after eating the birthday cake, my arm is about to fall off, is what it felt like. It felt like somebody was wrenching it off. And I couldn't move it. And I couldn't even breathe without mind-rending pain. And I went through a whole night of that. And I called some of my friends. Some of you got calls from me because I just had to talk to somebody, and my one friend that I could talk to in the middle of the night. It's like I just had to distract myself, because I didn't have anything that was even touching the pain, nothing. The whole arsenal. But here's the funny thing. A few days before, I had ordered some samples of a product that I had just run into again. I had found this product years ago, and this is another good thing that I'm going to be doing. If you're in any kind of pain or need healing of anything, and remember, I'm not a doctor, I can't diagnose or treat anything. However, I can tell you my own stories of my own healing and my own pain relief that I had years ago. Ran into a woman who was making a salve that was absolutely tremendous. It was the strongest healing cream I ever had, healing salve. And it was amazing. It was literally amazing. And you didn't need much. Just a very thin, you just touch your fingers to it and skim across the top of it and put a little on there. Boom, pain gone. And, she told me a story about how the Indians made this. It was something that the Indians knew about. And it was the reason that they would, white men thought that it was magic. It was just because they knew the herbs. And so this was an herbal treatment that her mother made for her arthritis, to get rid of the arthritis in her hands that she had really bad. And so she learned how to make it, and then she decided to build her business on it. And then she had a little business going, making this comfrey cream. It was comfrey. Now, when I researched comfrey, yes, I mean, the old herbalists were saying how great it was. And I'm going to do more of a presentation on this right now. I'm just going to kind of touch the surface. Hey, James, how you doing, James Oritz? Oh, you got to go to town now. Okay, see you, Ken. Take care. Um, anyway, well, he may need some of this cream, but it'd be a heck of a price tag to ship to him. That's the thing. I'm going to be selling this stuff because it's that good. I am the only way I can do this is by buying a quantity. So I saved up some money and I'm buying. I ordered. I hope I can sell some of it, but I never want to be without it again because she let me try. This woman let me try this comfrey cream. When I researched comfrey, yeah, the old herbalists were saying, yeah, this stuff is not just a painkiller, but it actually heals things really fast. It's called bone knit or knit bone, and its properties are unbelievably just, I couldn't believe it. I was in a lot of pain walking around a flea market, of all places, is where I found her. And she put some on me, and within like almost right away, I felt better. And I felt like I could walk around and I wasn't in pain. And I was like, oh my gosh. Now, back then, and this was years ago, back then, it was a pricey product. I was thinking, however, here she is at a flea market selling this product that's kind of pricey. But I know that I feel so much better that if I have the money, I'm going to hand it to her and have a bottle of this stuff, have a little jar of this. Because when you're in pain, and then when she told me all the other stuff, she said you can put it anywhere it's safe. You could even eat it if you had to. There's absolutely no toxicity, no known allergies. There's no allergens in it. All that's in it is comfrey and comfrey oil mostly, comfrey plant parts, and beeswax. So the only thing that you might have a problem with is, some people got to be careful with bees, anything, but beyond that, that's all that's in there. And the beeswax is just to hold it together to make it into a salve. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Well, and there was a number on it. And so every now and then when I'd run out or lose the jar, because once my friends would find out, friends, quote unquote, would find out that this stuff really works, sometimes the jar would mysteriously disappear. Right? But, oh, well, let me just borrow this indefinitely. And, and then they don't want to give it back. So how did I misplace that pain cream? But anyway, but then I lost the jar went away, and the number, I didn't have the number, couldn't find the number again. And I found out that the only way, they don't have a website. She didn't have a website. Who doesn't have a website in this era? You know, even then, I mean, not having a website was kind of weird. If you're selling something, you're not on Etsy, you're not, no, she's not. So, couldn't find it for a while. Oh man, and I was suffering. But I finally found the freaking number from years back. And I call them, and see, she was very old, but she was one of those very sturdy old ladies. I mean, she was complaining about it being too warm in Florida for her. She liked it in Pennsylvania where it got cold because she would burn a hole in the snow. She didn't care about no snow or ice and all that. So, you know, she was a Reiki master and, you know, all this. And she was telling me, I was thinking, wow, if working with this stuff all the time is going to help you that much. And she would Reiki all of the bottles back then. And so I'm like, well, you know, I'm loving this. Yeah, you're right, Freeman. Flea markets can hide magic people and their magic goodies too. You're right. You're absolutely right. And so when I looked into it myself, and here I'm going to do a thing on comfrey and maybe some other healing herbs too. I'll start doing some herbal woo, but it is almost magical. The herbalist just said, as a matter of fact, it used to be a joke that if you threw a handful of stew meat in a pot of comfrey tea, it'd probably heal back together again. That's the kind of faith they had in it, and they bred it so it wouldn't be toxic, but it's still listed as toxic. But Susan Weed sent away samples of the kind that the horticulturalists, which is the kind everybody uses now. The horticulturalists bred the toxicity out of it, and a lot of people don't know that. So but if you go into it, you're still going to see toxic and whatever, but this stuff has been tested out as nothing toxic in there. No toxins at all in this, not poison. So and I'm not going to argue about how or why or what, I'm just going to say what I found when I looked into it, because I kind of almost got into a little argument with him, because he said, you can't make this yourself because it's toxic, but it was somehow we make. And then I found out they went to a manufacturer. She stopped doing it in her kitchen and they started having a manufacturer make this. And it's still very strong. And this is interesting. It's not in a carrier oil. I mean, I was trying to find, comfrey creams that worked as well and were as strong and healed as fast, because I mean, I have countless stories of things that I've used. It's good wrinkle cream too, by the way. I even use it before I go out in the sun. I'll tell you about that too, how that works. But any kind of a wound, any kind of a bone, ligament, anything, you're going to heal like maybe 4 times faster than you normally would. So basically, if you've got a broken bone, instead of 8 weeks, it might only take 2 weeks to start healing it, to get I mean, I tore this thing really good and couldn't even move the arm. And my helper was like, put it all over me. When we got the samples, I asked for samples from this guy. I said, can you send me some samples? I hadn't had the arm thing happen yet. Thank God he sent me some samples. And the samples came and I was so glad to see them. I said, gee, I hope this still works. And it did. And let me tell you, finally, that and also my friend Paul brought me a homeopathic remedy that helped a bit too. So it was helping a bit too. But this just took the pain. And within a week's time, I was moving my arm again. Not full range. It's not back to full range yet. But usually a rip that bad, I mean, you could even feel in there that something was wrong with this arm, right? This shoulder. And down in my lower arm as well. There was some problems. I had done something really bad to myself, and it must be because I was packing and unpacking a lot of stuff, and I get exuberant, and I think I'm superwoman sometimes, and do things that I shouldn't be doing, probably that I shouldn't be testing. So what was a small rip though became a huge one when I went off my diet. Whoa, whoa. Well, I don't even want to think about how that. So we slapped this on it, and she just could not believe how fast. She said, "You can even move your arm. Just the last time I saw you, you couldn't move it at all." And this was only like 2 days. She comes back and she says, "You're moving your arm." Yes. Wow. You know, and you're not screaming? No, I'm not. But I need you to put more on it for me because I can't reach my whole arm. So we've been putting it on every time she comes over. And I gotta say, um, tomorrow, tonight'll be 2 weeks and it's almost back. And that was a severe rip in my rotator cuff and some other damage in my arm, probably. Now, those of you who know me know I'm not the kind that goes to doctors. I'm probably going to go to the doctor and just have it, oh, pardon me, cowboy hair up my nose. I'm probably just going to have it documented that I have had this, but I'm pretty much over it now. And I'm still waiting to get my range of motion back. But the pain is gone and the arm works now. I can lift it on my own, where before I was having to take my hand and do one of these numbers to move it. So the arm does now move on its own. I'm going to have to work on getting the strength back and the range of motion, but that's just going to take time. Most of the pain is gone. There's just a tiny little twinge left. I'm not going to try, ripping it again by trying to do anything too heavy or too strenuous, but that's 2 weeks. And when I looked into what it can take months, it can take, if a small one, that can take a couple weeks, maybe a month. But a big one, a nasty one, which is what I had, that can take months. Well, this has been 2 weeks. I wouldn't lie to you about anything like this because it matters too much to me, my rep, and I care about you. But I'm going to say, if you have pain or you need something that needs to be healed back together again, because I also have used it for that kind of thing, really consider. I am going to sell it as cheaply as I can. Um, of course, there's going to be some postage, I find out. If you're coming by in the area, I can take the price of the postage off, but otherwise, I'm going to need to have to charge postage. But, I'm going to get it as cheaply as I can to you, because I'm just going to charge enough to make a reasonable profit and no more, like not gouge anybody. That's not my intent. However, it's so good that I can 100% get behind it. And if you need the relief, I know that I can help you. I know that this is going to help you. This is going to help somebody. I've already got a couple of orders. Yes, painkiller and mending in one herb. And it's considered a noxious weed. Now let me tell you something. This is something I've found looking at herbal stuff. Most of the strongest and most nutritious herbs are weeds. And if it's really good, they'll call it a noxious herb. Well, because it's very hard to kill. You got to realize this is something that probably impressed. This is probably something that impressed the Indians too. I mean, maybe that's even how they figured it out. It's very hard to kill. The plant is hard to kill. It'll keep coming back. It's got incredibly long roots, so they used to eat it as greens. Toxic, right? It's so toxic. The leaves are so toxic that they'd eat it as greens in the old days. Now that's been pretty much bred out of it, but yeah. Or they used to make a tea out of it. They used to make poultices out of it. It's literally a miracle herb, it's a miracle herb. It's like certain other herbs, right? I mean, cannabis is also, CBD will stop a cytokine storm. And that's not me saying it, that's science, not Fauci science, but science will say, that stops a cytokine storm. I think eventually comfrey and some other herbs like that are going to be are going to be used instead of. We got to go back to that. We've got to go back to the stuff that really works because it doesn't have any bad side effects. This cream doesn't, as far as I know, this stuff doesn't have any bad side effects. This is why medicine will not, this way it will not be a prescription drug ever. It has no side effects. But yeah, I'm so glad it came. Only thing is I used up all the samples on my arm. So I'm really looking forward to my shipment, and I ordered it, and I'm taking a big risk because this was no cheap investment. But I never want to be without this again. And I am going to offer it for $30 for 4 ounces. But that'll last you a long time. It doesn't sound like very much. You don't need very much. It's incredible. A very thin coat of this is all you need. It's mind-boggling. And I mean, when it's mind-boggling for me, then it's pretty mind-boggling. And when I tell you that I haven't found anything like it, and I've figured out why, it's because this stuff is pure. It's 100% comfrey. That's all it is. The rest of the stuff that you buy is cut with something. It's cut with some kind of carrier oil. Well, who's to know that comfrey is its own best carrier oil? You don't need a carrier oil for comfrey. It'll get in there just fine. See, a carrier oil is what we use to get it to absorb into you, because some things are too big. They don't want to go in. It's like marbles rolling around on your skin. But if you put it in a carrier oil, the carrier oil will drag it right into your skin and therefore into your bloodstream. And this is something to remember. Never put anything on you that you wouldn't put in you. Okay? Just a bad idea. Don't put anything on you that you wouldn't put in you. I'm even thinking of souping this stuff up maybe a little bit more with I'm thinking of making a version maybe with a little CBD oil in it. So it also stops the cytokine storm. I'm thinking of putting a little bit of silver in there. Oh, and by the way, it doesn't sustain bacterial growth. That's another one of its qualities. Nope. You know, it's like mind blown, mind totally blown. Okay. Um, okay. I don't want to like wax on forever about my new product, but if you're interested, please do give me a holla, and you can reach me um, at, I'm going to give you, let's see, you can reach me at MeWe.com. D Ocean Swiger there. I'm D Ocean Swiger. And there is a picture of me. If you are not inclined to go to MeWe, but you're on Facebook or Fakebook or whatever that is, you can find me as Diana Singer there with a picture of me. And I will be glad to, or you can leave me a comment here, and we'll find some way to PM, and I'll get you. Right now, I'm going to see if I can get a dedicated phone number or something, or maybe I'll give it its own email so that I can separate it from all. But if you just throw me an email, it's going to get lost in all the emails. So that I tried that and it just didn't work. So it's going to have its own designation. But if you're interested, please let me know. If you buy in quantity, and this is something the company won't do, you have to buy like 20 jars of this stuff to get a discount. But I will give you a discount if you buy quantity. If you have friends that you want to split an order with and get it a little cheaper, I will do that. I will work that out with you. So, you know, I'm offering it. And like one of my friends that's in pain all the time, she just bought it, right? She's kind of struggling with other stuff, but she bought it right now because she says, well, if you're, yeah, and then, well, actually, two of my friends, they said, well, if you're that gung ho on it, man, I'm buying it because you ain't never told me anything wrong before. Plus, I know how you usually feel, which is a lot of pain. I mean, my life is pain. You know, has been pain for years. Just dealing with pain and trying to heal up from things. A very toxic environment. So if I'm saying it's a good product, they know it's a good product. I'm not shitting. No way. And I wouldn't do that anyway. I wouldn't want to ever do that. I just feel I would feel bad if any of these claims were untrue. That's why I'm just telling you what it's done for me, you know. Because I can be 100% about that. So I'm going to leave that there. I don't want this to be the longest infomercial or something. Just letting you know, I found a product I can really get behind. And I might even make other versions of this, because this is the pure stuff that everybody else cuts and makes other things out of, except I'd be doing things to make it even more. So we'll see. Oh, by the way, it's a great skin cream. I actually was putting this on my face just to heal up my dry skin, and after a burn, and it healed it really fast, because I'm a little snowflake, you know, out there getting bright red the first time I ever sit in the sun more than like 10 minutes. And this healed it up real fast. So the next time I decided I was going to I knew I was going to get burned probably. I put it on first. I healed so fast I never had time to get burned. For me, this is like, you mean I can actually go out in the sun now and not turn into Larry the Lobster? Yes! If I put this all over me, you know, any place I forget is, of course, going to have problems. But yes, do I need sunscreen? Hell no. You know, most sunscreen's carcinogenic, right? Did you know? You just trade one kind of cancer for another. This is nothing like that. This is not going to protect you from the sun like that, but it's going to heal you so fast that it doesn't even matter. You're just going to be nice and tan. That's how I got that lovely tan I had a few years back, is because I had this stuff. So I'm looking forward to this summer. I'm going to be going out and not getting burned, I'm looking forward to it, man. Anyway, I'm going to move on now. Um, so, you know, but I just can't hardly say enough about it. I'm so happy to have it again back. Now I can really get some healing done. So, I don't have to be in pain ever again. Yay! I guess you can even use it on your teeth, but you still need a dentist to do some stuff. But you can use this on your teeth. And like I said, the Italian stuff that I told you with the hydroxyapatite, the toothpaste, Bio Repair, that stuff's good. I don't sell it. No, it's Italian stuff. You can buy it on Amazon. That stuff's worth it to protect your teeth and make them stop hurting. But if you have a cavity, you're still going to have, or, if you need dental work done, you're going to need dental work done still. But everybody who tried that said, you know what, you didn't lie about that. No, I didn't. I wouldn't lie about this stuff if it worked for me that fast. That was another thing that worked like almost immediately. So if I find something good like that, you can count on me to pass it on. Because I know there's a lot of people out there in the same boat as me. You've been so toxified, you're so hurt. You hurt all the time. Pain is like just something you become accustomed to. And you sometimes wonder if you're ever going to get out of it. And it's really sometimes real hard to be upbeat when you're in pain a lot. And my helper, she was saying, you know what, I've seen the kind of pain you're in, and if I had that kind of pain, I would be biting everybody's head off, all the time. And it's like, she says, I don't know how you women did it. She says, I have other clients too with pain, and it's like how you guys bear this pain is just amazing. I don't know how I would do that. I said, well, you'd learn because you have to. But now I'm going to be out of pain. Yay. I'm so happy. I'm also getting some Tiger Balm, which is great for headaches. So that isn't even going to be a problem. If you haven't tried Tiger Balm, I'm going to have about 10 little tins of Tiger Balm, and you don't need much of that either. You put a dot here and a dot here, and your headache goes. Or you got sinus problems, you just put a dot here, your sinuses drain. It's like Super Vicks Vapor Rub or something. You put a little bit here, Super Vicks. Remember Vicks Vapor Rub when you were a kid? It's like so much faster. So, and you don't need as much, and you don't need it all over your chest. That's another thing I'm going to have so available. And so I'm going to do that kind of stuff, Anyway, on to other stuff. I'm going to start doing readings again. If people are interested, I'll be doing the sort of sampler readings, sort of 1 or 2 cards, probably around the full moons or new moons. I'm not quite sure yet which yet. I'm going to start that back up again. I don't know if I'm going to go into full-blown ceremonies, because for a while I couldn't do that. It just wasn't working. It was too much. It was too much on an individual basis. I might think about doing that, and I have. I mean, for friends and for my crew here, I have done my helping as much as I can, but I don't know that I'm going to be having the ceremonies like I did because there's just too much chance of disruption in a ceremony like that. And it's just too many things for me to try and handle at once. Streaming, running a ceremony, it's just too much. If I had somebody else handling the tech part, maybe I could do that, but I don't. I'm doing this completely on my own. And for those of you who are saying, well, why don't you have the horizontal instead of the vertical? It's on my phone, and my phone won't do it any other way. They give me no other option but to have it this way. If they ever give me another option on StreamYard, I would be thrilled. But for some reason on a phone, they just let me do it this way. So hopefully I will be strong enough that I will be able to handle the EMF. I have not wanted to cook this arm with EMF or electrical fields, for those of you. Some of us, I'm seem to be really sensitive to that, so that's one of the reasons I haven't been able to get back to my PC too, and that and some other PC issues that I've dealt with. I started having PC issues again sooner or later. I'm going to start having guests, so if you have any guests that would like to be on my show, please let me know, you know. And mewe.com, mewe.com is where we hang out, where the Woo Crew hangs out. And I would love to see you there if you're kind of new to the show or if you haven't joined MeWe. It's basically like Facebook, but without all the data mining. But I will try to look for messages from people in Facebook if I have to. Yeah, it's not that I want to be on there, but I'm on there because it's the only way to keep in touch with some people. Hopefully some really heavy energies going around, and it's all initiated types, it seems, says B. Freeman. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. It's a lot of us who are called to do this kind of work are being upgraded. We're going through a lot of soul. If you're going through like a dark night of the soul, you're not alone. So many of us are. If you're being called upon to do your shadow work, which is all of the little parts of us that we don't want to admit to at being there. We don't want to look at. We don't want to look at the shadow. If you're being called to face all that, this is the time to be doing it. We're trying to get rid of all our crap, okay? You know, this is like a cosmic enema of sorts, okay? So we need to get rid of all of this eons of crap that we've been wading through for like how many thousands of years has the human race been going through this? And it's going to take a while, but a lot of us are working on it, and that's what you're supposed to be doing. And if you're working on your shadow, it's grueling, but it's worth it. Your emotions are actually valuable. Once you get through, feel your emotions through all the way, they can actually be your barometer of where you are. You can actually start to use them as a barometer, sort of, as a, or maybe an altimeter, like how high is your frequency? Well, what's your mood like? Instead of thinking of them as we do. They're by far, they're not useless. There's reasons you have emotions. It's like there's a reason you have an imagination. Imagination is one of your most valuable tools. It's how you make reality. is with your imagination. So use it wisely. Okay. Let's see, is there anything else that I wanted to cover that I haven't? Well, I covered black noise. Don't want to scare you. Don't be afraid. But I did want to say there is something that has been happening lately in the last few years called Havana syndrome. And that I think is connected with this black noise stuff, perhaps. And I will explain that in another show. But basically, it's called Havana syndrome because the it was first discovered by Americans in Havana, diplomats in Havana. And now it's kind of showing up all over the place. And you should know about that because it can make you real sick. So if you feel like, and it's an area thing, it's an area effect, and it can be a very specific area. I sometimes wonder if this hasn't been pointed at me. Because it kind of looks like somebody's testing this. Once again, it's something you can't hear. So this would be classified as a DEW and directed energy weapon. And hope that doesn't get me in trouble for saying that. But you need to know about that. If you start feeling really bad, start moving to another area. If you get better, guess what? You are in the path of perhaps one of these things. Some people, all they had to do was leave their bed and they started feeling better. But there can be after effects that are, when I read it, I kept thinking it's a lot like a concussion. Well, if it's a sonic weapon of some sort, it could be giving your brain a lot of little concussions because all a concussion is bruises. So if you are feeling this way, try moving. Just, it doesn't matter. Just move somewhere and see if it helps. We'll try and come up with some protections. I'll see what. Of course, one protection would be to play the dissonance of whatever that wave is, because a resonance makes something stronger. Dissonance makes it weak. If we find the dissonance, we find the opposite wave to that one, we could flatten the wave and thereby kill it that way, kill the effect. I would direct you to the YouTube. There are many, many YouTube videos that are for various purposes that are either subliminal or they have solfeggios or they have Rife frequencies. And there's a lot of them to peruse and go through and see which ones you like the best. I can recommend Dr. Virtual 7. I can recommend Ninad. They seem to be coming up with some good stuff. There are a few of them. Meditative Mind. They do some good videos that you can play for hours, and you can play it in the background, and you don't have to have it real loud or anything for it to work. So I would advise you, if you feel like you're undergoing any of this, these higher frequencies are definitely going to help negate the effects of the lower ones, which, they talk about Bigfoot, and here we go with the real deep woo. Bigfoot, supposedly, Sasquatch uses infrasound so low that you can't hear it to stun their prey. And people who have been hit with it say, whoa, very disorienting and, just Dizzy, nauseous, disorienting. Well, it's black noise too. Is like that. So, um, yeah, right now, those are the two things I can tell you that may help you. And if you know somebody who has been shot up, I mean, by the old jibbity jabberwocker, I'm gonna say try. I cannot promise that this is gonna take all the effects away, but the Zetox, Regal Zetox that I spoke of in another video is something that really helped me clear out my system of stuff, of toxins when my fillings were breaking and dumping all that into my bloodstream. So if you've got heavy metal poisoning or if you've got some other kind of toxicity, it takes heavy metals and toxic stuff out of your blood. So that's another product I can recommend. So it might work for graphene, I don't know. But I know that one of my friends that I advised to try it, at least try it, he seems to be getting help because he had literally his arm and leg went numb and then for a while did the pins and needles. And now he's got use back. But that stuff can really do a number on you. So I advised Zetox for him. So he's okay now. And he doesn't know how lucky he is to be as okay as he is. Anyway, because some people, I am quite sure though, that in that case, there was a control group because some people get really sick, some people get a little sick, some people get nothing at all, no reaction at all. My guess is, or my feeling is that there were different things being tested with that. And that's why one of them was 2-part. And then there were 2 others that were not. 2-part one seems to be the worst. My friend who had HER2 in 2 different places seemed to not suffer as much. So there was some kind of 2-part thing that was going on there that she didn't end up with. We've still got a lot to go, though. We got a lot of work to do because they're still talking about the Jibbity Jab Pass, which we've got to kill. We've got to kill that. If you want to use the word kill, you got to kill that. We got to get rid of that somehow. That's got to go. All of these things like that have got to go. And so we've still got to do some intention work and some actual physical work, probably. And then we've got to get the right people in the political scene. And there are some people who are really worthy of your vote. Please choose wisely. And some of them are going to need contributions because they're not rich guys. So, and I understand how much, though, it's been, what a strange world we're in right now. It's actually, though, if you're looking for a job, if you think you can handle a job, it's really an employee's market right now in the job scene. If you are a good worker, you're going to get a job and you're going to be able to keep it probably because so many people walked off their jobs and so I have a feeling that a good worker is going to be rewarded or is going to have to be rewarded, in order to still be there, still bother to be there. So we'll see. But that's my feeling is that if you can work, you're probably going to be able to find a job now. Is there anything else? Is there anything you guys want to talk about while I'm here? We've been on for almost 2 hours. Um, Sonic concussions, yeah. Oh yeah, getting screamed at. I did too. Woohoo! I'm glad it was way off in the distance. If it was any closer, I would have been scraping trousers, let me tell you. I didn't realize it was a Sasquatch at the time. Here's another funny thing. I think I've mentioned this before. I didn't know what I was into, what I had gotten myself into. I saw all the X structures and the nests and the pixie stick forest. The I call it the pixie sticks. That's like a fence. When you go into the woods and you see just a bunch of trees just sort of strewn about like pixie sticks. Sasquatch can handle that, but humans have a hell of a time going through that terrain. That's really rough terrain for a human. You can break a bone going through there, really hurt yourself. And the big X structures and the little nests and stuff that they build. I didn't know about any of that. But thinking back, I saw that millions of times, must have. I don't know about millions, at least thousands, because I played down there all my life, and in the Ohio Valley area, and the Valley, we have parks everywhere here. You go uh, 5 minutes in any direction from here, you're in the country. You've got a park. You got wild lands here. I'm pretty sure last year I was mind speaking with Sasquatch, and um, that kind of took me aback. And there was also something else. Maybe I'll talk about that someday. What else was in our backwoods that we found? It was pretty scary, but I am pretty sure I was doing the mind speak because every question that somebody asked about Sasquatch, I was getting an answer in my head. Like, why this and why that? And it was just like, boom, well, here's why. It's like, really? Like, what's their interest in our children? Well, their children don't have guns, and they don't tend to react the same way as grown people do. Children have a tendency to be just a little bit more accepting about things. They go out and see strange things. If they're used to out playing out in the woods, they're seeing strange things out in the woods that they don't understand anyway all the time, and they just kind of take it all in. And so what? So they don't react as hysterically a lot of times as older people do, and they don't carry weapons generally. So it's a lot safer for them to interact with children most of the time. But that's part of it. The other part is that I wondered why, I got this strange little tidbit. Now, out in the sun, my hair looks red. And I wondered, because Robin, who's another experiencer, her hair is red, kind of got a reddish tinge to it. Their children have reddish tinged hair. And I think they kind of develop a fondness of people with kind of a red tinge to the hair because I got this because their babies are redheads. So they kind of have this, a female Sasquatch would have kind of motherly feelings towards a little red-haired creature. So that's just some kind of odd little tidbit I got from the interaction. But I'm going to try and mind speak them this year. I was I cut them off rather abruptly because of what else was going on out there, and I didn't want the wrong kind of telepathic communication because there was something dangerous out there, and I'll go into that another time. I don't want to go into it right now, but it could have been pretty bad. Anyway, okay, we're almost at 2 hours. I hope it's just Sasquatch and we don't have dogmen. Well, I don't know, B. Freeman. Um, I'm not sure I'm that worried about dogmen because we don't really have. I'm divided about that. We don't really have reports of dogmen actually killing people. But then again, we wouldn't if nobody survived. But no, some people have survived being chased by them. And it seems like to me, like to a lot of us, that something that big that moves that fast, if they really wanted to catch you, they'd catch you. If they really wanted to kill you and eat you, they would be doing it. You wouldn't have any survivors of any encounters with the dog man if they were serious about it. I had my own, what I believe was a dog man encounter, and I'll mention that too at some point. I'll talk about that. But I think when I looked up dogmen, they're known. They've been known throughout history. They were actually, I guess there's more than one kind though. They were peaceful and remote. They lived in remote areas and they lived in a tribe. So that was the original dogman. And actually, Francis of Assisi, St. Francis of Assisi, was supposedly one of those dogmen. This is another thing that's not known. He was supposedly a dogman. But then there are the dog soldiers that have been bred as soldiers, and they're different breed. Just like, some people, pit bulls can either be great big lap babies or they can be bred to kill. They can be trained to kill. And I think that's probably where we are at with dogman. So still a good idea to stay away. Don't bother them. Don't mess with them. Get away if you can. Chances are, though, if it's a regular dog man, he's going to let you go. He might have some fun with you because it seems like they like to have fun with us and play with us a little bit, but chances are that you're going to survive it. But I wouldn't take that risk anyway. I really wouldn't take the risk, but just in case. And there are also nonviolent Sasquatch that don't look to cause trouble with anybody. And there are violent ones. They're individuals. So all of these things, we've got to take them on as they may be individuals. Some things may be running strictly on instinct, but any thinking creature is probably going to have individual personalities, just like we do. I mean, some of us are very dangerous, and some of us are not, are very peaceful and reasonable. So, I think we've got to start if we really want to get ready to deal with. We want to deal with ETs. We better deal with some of the life forms we have here. Because if we don't understand the life forms we have here, how the heck are we going to understand dealings with ETs? Are we really ready? If you are, get to know how to deal with things that are not your species. I mean, we have a hard enough time dealing with our own species, right? Sometimes. But yeah, how do you deal with your dog? How do you deal with your cat? How do you deal with wild animals out there? That's all going to tell you how well you're going to take it when we finally meet ET. How well are you going to do? So it'd be really good to develop that mind speak stuff, wouldn't it? Mm-hmm. Yep. So that you can say, hey, let's just talk in a reasonable way here. So actually, in my dogman encounter, actually didn't know what was chasing me. But I just said, look, I am so tired that if you're going to kill me, you might as well just do it. Like I said, I'll tell that story another time, though. It was, I never knew what it was. I didn't know what it was, but it sounds like they were in the same place I was. I heard a dog man story, and almost the same thing happened to them as happened and only they got to see it. And I don't know what I would have done if I had seen it. How I would have really back then. I don't know. I'm just as well that I didn't actually see it, but I heard it once again, like I heard the Sasquatch. And if you ever hear that yell, you'll never forget that yell. You'll never forget it. So, yeah, I'm saying for now, any of these beings, if you are not really confident, just leave them be. Oh, also the fairy folk, don't tempt them. Be nice. Don't ever tempt them. Um, there are other little cryptids that are not real nice to you, don't care for humans much. Don't run afoul of any of them. I mean, we have our big brains. That's what we have in our tech. That's what we have. Other than that, a lot of these beings are, a lot of these creatures really have it over on us. So be careful out there. Don't be afraid. Just be careful. Okay, I love you guys. If there's nothing else you want to talk about, I'm getting ready to cut it off now. It's been over 2 hours. I miss you guys when I'm not on. I really do. But there's sometimes when I just can't even, I don't even know when to come on because there's so much going on now. There's something going on every minute. And I'll come in and there's somebody live and there's like, I'll be thinking I'll come in, but there's somebody else live and I go say hi. And by the time I say hi, and it's like the time is up and it's late. Like it's even kind of late right now. It's 11. So this is kind of late for some of you. But yeah, I'm going to be trying to do this more often. We'll see if that's going to be a reality. And I'll try to have would like to have some guests on. Okay. I love you guys. For those of you who are listening later, I love you every bit as much. Please leave a comment below. It helps me get found in the algorithms. Algorithm. Who could ask for anything more? Well, I could. I could ask you to please put a comment down there once this goes out and comes back up and it's just, not live anymore. Leave a comment, please. Thank you. And this is the ocean saying, don't forget, you are divine. You are divine. You are. And the more you acknowledge that, the more you will feel it. So anytime you're feeling tired and wondering why I haven't done hardly anything, but what superhero thing have you done that you're not acknowledging? I do this all the time. Because you know what? You get to a certain point and it's just part of your life. What did you do? You just sent healing to somebody. What did you do? You just, you just helped somebody out. What did you do? You just had all of these dreams where, I was over in Ukraine, by the way, in one of my dreams. I never had seen it. I hadn't seen any clips of what it looked like. This was early on. And doggone, I was in Ukraine, apparently. There's a lot of times now where in the news I'll hear about where I was in my dream and what was going on there, that I'm only seeing glimpses of. So you are divine. And remember, you're probably doing a lot more than you think you are consciously. You won't remember it all, but you're doing stuff. If you're like me, you're doing stuff in your sleep, which is why sometimes you wake up so tired still. And the other thing I'd like you to consider is please keep questioning everything. I found this lovely book. It says question everything. It's even purple. Everything that's mine is marked in purple. It's so funny. When we go to the grocery store, my friend Paul goes, I know what's yours. Because, he says when we're trying to find something and I'm looking for it for you, I just look for the purple label and it's usually that's it. My stuff is all products and stuff. It's really weird. He's right. The pizza that doesn't have the nightshades in it because I can't have the nightshades is marked in is purple box. So, of course, now I'm not having flowers, so I can't have pizza right now. But it was so funny when it's like, hey, I can have this. And he's like, yeah, figures it's purple. So, um, don't ever forget who you are, and don't let anybody snow you about that. Okay. And there's usually some other stuff I say too, but you've heard it before. I love you. Take care. Be kind to each other. Be kind to yourself. Good night.